Recording in progress.
Okokuqala ingakhona umbuzo uthi kumphathiswa ingaba ikhona imicelimngeni abakhe bahlangana nayo bona belisebe apha kwezi securities ekwenzeni umsebenzi wazo. Umbuzo wokuqala. Then umbuzo wesibini, ingaba imalini isebe eyichithayo xa kuza kwezi security? Ingaba zikhona izinto ezinhle abaye bazibona bona belisebe njengoba beqalile ngokusebenzisa ezi companies? Enkosi Sihlalo.
Thank you, Honorable Seleko. And I want to now to give over the opportunity to the Honorable China Dodovu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let us welcome the presentation. I apologize that I will not flight my video because of the situation where I am in the Northwest. And I'm going to take a bit of time, maybe an extra minute from the other members of Parliament, Honorable Chair, because for me, this is quite important. Firstly, Honorable Minister, in 2020, you appeared before the Select Committee on Transport in the NCOP, in which you indicated that the problem is not only serious, but it impacts on the work of PRASA and the whole process of railway. And in that sense, there was about 900 million that was shifted towards security operations of PRASA to ensure that we kept this. And at the time, there were about 274 cases of vandalism and malicious damage to property. And at the time when you were engaging with the Select Committee on Transport, you indicated the fact that you were going to do exactly what you are saying you are going to do today to increase the security capability for armed response and control room operations to ensure that we deal with these particular issues quite effectively. Now, my question is, since 2020, since you committed to attend to these particular matters in the way that you had indicated, what is the difference? What improvements have been realized? And on that score, in terms of the process that you are going to unfold now of ensuring that you have about 1.5 security patrols as a first phase of the process, how much will that cost in relation to the money that was allocated already in 2020 when you were dealing with this particular, the same problem when you addressed it at the level of the Committee on Transport? And concomitant to that point, Honorable Chair, I beg your indulgence, was the fact that those vandals and criminals who are involved in wreaking havoc at that particular level, that they need harsher measures to be taken against them. And maybe you can just demonstrate and indicate that those people that we arrest doing this vandalism, we are handing them to the police, and there are specific cases that we can report where in which harsher actions were taken against the vandals and the criminals. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dodovu. Minister, I'm well represented by the members who have asked the questions, but if I have additional questions in the interest of time, I will simply send them to office.
Yes, me.
Who's there? Who's shouting now here? Who's
no one is.
Yeah, Honorable Samai, you did not raise your hand. You raised your hand after us for hands. We are Tunagala. We are Tunagala. I will give you a minute to ask your question.
Narsene ke batla se botsa fela go hore ka obana ha go sana di trainer tse di tsamayang go tswa Gauteng go fitla ko Katlehong le go tswa ko Katlehong go fitla Sebokeng go maso go fedile ebile ditulo tse leng gore ke tsone tse ne ile gore di sebedisiwa ke batho go palama mo ditereneng setse di fetogile dintlo tsa dihobo mo eleng gore di tshwara podi le matsa batho mo tsone ba etsang jwale ka hobane go sena security se se protectileng ditsela tse jwalo batho ga ba kgone go feta mo tseleng tse dingwe ba tshaba gore dintlo tseo di dula batho ba eleng gore ba kotsi ba etsang ka security ke a leboga
Ntate. Honorable Mtsamai. We're now going to hand over to Minister and his team to deal quickly with these questions and questions of clarity. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Raza, you're going to start. Raza, you're going to start to answer. Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. With your permission, I'm going to give the acting group CEO and his team to answer some of the questions, and then I will level up, Chair. Thank you very much, and honorable members.
Thank you, Minister. Chairperson and members, in terms of the challenges that we're currently facing, at a high level, what we're seeing is we're getting attacked not only as PRASA, but Eskom and Transnet. So we do rely on Transnet in some of the services that we're rendering. So when the attacks are not directly to PRASA, they also go to Transnet, which then affects our services. The same with Eskom, and we've seen cases like that, more especially in the Western Cape members, where the point of delivery of our electricity to assist with the traction or electrify our lines also get attacked. If it's not direct to PRASA, it goes straight into the Eskom substations of supply, which then also affects our services. So it does require that we collaborate in an integrated approach between ourselves, Eskom, and Transnet as well. And as far as the budget is concerned, Chairperson and members, we to date have assessed that, and we're coming close to R1 billion a year just to protect our infrastructure. Out of the 900, Chairperson, we so far have spent around 130 million on just simply the salaries of all those that we've added into what we refer to as boots on the ground. The rest of it has been committed into what you've seen as part of the implementation plan, which is going to show in this year's expenditure. So not all of the 900 has already been depleted out of the allocation. So we still have got a little bit of a balance out of that, which is targeted at triggering the phase 2 as presented. In terms of the arrests, the question on arrests, we to date can say we've got around 424 arrests, Minister, people arrested in connection with crimes in our environment and infrastructure, 180 convictions with a total of around 700 years in jail based on the courts. So that's where I would leave it, Minister and Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, and honorable members for the questions. We are in the rebuilding process in terms of PRASA. Honorable Dodovu has put it quite correctly since 2020. We should have been far by now if our capacity allows in many other areas in terms of PRASA. But as I can tell you now, we are hitting the ground running. The dust is coming up in terms of construction of the dilapidated and vandalized stations in a new model to be implemented. We've got our security plans being implemented already. And then the expenditure and the spending is our Achilles heel because we don't have, abundance of resources, so to say. But I can assure you, we are running at the full speed of the Gautrain at the present moment. we did rely on the fact that at the time we will move with speed off the tracks, but it did not happen. And I need to admit before this committee that myself as the minister, I was not happy with the performance of PRASA, because I thought that we should be far by now. We only last year recovered Mabopane. You all know, honorable members, you will visit that Mabopane line. We have recovered. I've been down on the ground in terms of the central line, which is a twin brother or sister of Mabopane as a presidential project. And we are halfway. In July this year, we will see limited service in that regard. I'm happy with what I'm seeing in terms of security. I've been to the PRASA war room, which is operational. I'm happy with what I'm seeing there. And I know the commitments that we make, that certain things will happen within what time, is not thumb-sucked. It is what is going to happen. At the present moment, we've got 5 out of 10 corridors recovered. By end of the year, the commitment we have made that 10 of the corridors will be up and running and recovered is going to happen. And even more to that particular extent. In terms of the security issues, the figures, the DG, the acting CEO have dealt with that. And what is the difference with 2020? What is the difference is that we're now talking implementation. We're not talking intentions. So you can come and see for yourself and do the oversight, and then and see whether or not what we have presented here and what the PRASA leadership has presented here, indeed it is happening on the ground. So we are up to a revolution happening at PRASA. Changes are coming fast and fast, and the talking is less and the doing is more. And I think we've got men and women who are up to the task to really get to the point where we meet our deadlines. We have been delayed, Honorable Dodovu, in terms of some of the plans from the point of view of change of personnel and the depletion of the capacity. One of the ideas that are in the pipeline, which I don't want to raise much alarm about, PRASA is a capital intensive company, and therefore you need to get this procurement right. And most of the delays have got to do with procurement and corruption there. And let me be honest with you that if you don't get procurement right, you take days. For instance, one project will be allocated for the rest of the country. Whereas if you recover corridors, you allocate corridor by corridor, security, OHT, companies, signaling companies, and then companies that deals with the payways recovery. You don't allocate one contract to one person. For instance, when I arrived here, they said that they want to allocate 12 billion rand to one company. What you have seen in the past with Siabangena, billions of rands, with Shifambo, 4 billion. When I arrived here, I stopped that nonsense. I stopped it. I said, billion per company. And then that is it. And in the past weeks, they've started spending that money. They've allocated at close to 6 billion to general overhaul companies. And then others are still going to be accommodated. Companies with capacity. And that is the problem you've got at PRASA. People are given work, people who don't have capacity. So all of those things have been followed up and addressed with the AG, and also the AG has got the telling blow in relation to this matter. I'm happy with the management in terms of how they resolve some of the challenges we've got, including with the board, and the chair can attest to this. And I've emphasized from the point of the shoulder and as the minister that we've got to meet our deadline. So in conclusion, it is not all yet there, but I can tell you by August, when you come around, and you don't even to come around where we are and where things are running, you're gonna see a different approach altogether. And my biggest example I can give you now is the biggest corridor, presidential project called Mabopane. Go there and you'll see what is happening. Blue trains are on the run. They are running on time. We've got security. We've got drones. We've got everything else that you can talk about. And that that is being replicated to other corridors as we recover them. And lastly, to Ntate, honorable member of the EFF, you are right. I have said it. You know it for a fact that all our stations are affected, and we are on the recovery, faster recovery in terms of rebuilding the stations and at the same time recovering the corridors. So hope in the next 2 months where you are in the Val, which link up to Kliptown coming down, passing through to Pretoria, you're going to see a big difference. The dust will be coming up there, and then the reconstruction will be happening in and around those particular lines in terms of train recovery. Thank you very much, Chairperson, for the time you have given to us, and we are at your service at all times. Thank you very much.
Chairperson. Dodovu, can you continue, Chief? The chair is not there.
Okay. Are we done, Chair? Are we released?
The chair has just disappeared. Let's ask Comrade Dodovu to continue.
Okay.
I think it's
okay.
a network problem, Minister.
Okay, honorable member, I can see.
But Minister, while you on the platform, you have also dealt with the issue of the cost payment. How far with that job, Minister?
Sorry, what are you asking about?
I'm asking about the cost payment that you found in the department. That we have we started with that one by cleaning. How far with it? Can you take us on board on that one?
Well, the report I've got now is that they've subjected that to the forensic process at PRASA. And then all those 3,000 plus people who were ghost workers, some have begun to come back. Remember, they were not coming to work to claim their salaries and everything else. But the forensic that they've instituted is now investigating the entire scam. And then they will bring the report very soon to the portfolio committee and probably to yourselves as well.
Much appreciated, Minister, your report. As I've said earlier on, that we have been following you throughout your project. Without being appointed here, but let me check on the other honorable members whether there's anybody who wants to make a follow-up before we release the minister until the chair comes back.
No, I'm here.
The chair is back.
Okay, the chair is back.
Shika nyambo zesitulo shika.
Isuthu esincedile mfondini.
Siyaqhuba seleko.
Umhlise ngendlovu. Mphathiswa masibulele Ntwanekazi. Njengokuba sitsho uNyambozi siyawubona umsebenzi omhle owenzayo ezweni. Sikukhuthaza into yoba uqhubekeke njengethandazwe wenze umsebenzi wobuzwe. Usise phambili uqinisekise into yobana le nkomponi iyaphuma ekuntyumpantyumpekeni kwezingxaki ibisoloko ikuzo. Siyibulela ngokungazenzisiyo ngokuthi uzinike ithuba uba ukwazi ukuza apha nangona imeko ikukhomba ekubeni ube uzawuthunga injongo ebandla phaa kulandlu yengwevu emva kwemini nje. We thank you very much, Minister, for this. We are quite happy with the progress that is being made. And it gives us, not only us, but also the communities and our people that we represent at this level, a great amount of hope. And it is that hope that is required at this time and this juncture of our history in our country. And secondly, we also want to thank the official and the staff minister that works with you, which makes your work quite very easy to deal with matters. And secondly, want to thank the chairperson of the board and the board members of PRASA, as well as the acting group chief executive officer. Without any further ado, Minister, thank you so much. We will stay in touch and we'll let you know when we require you in the near future. We release you, Minister. We'll see you on the other side. Siyabulela Jolingom. Honorable members, that being the case, I would like to say this was the only item that we were to consider this afternoon. And on that score, I wish to thank you members for taking time to honor this important meeting, which was considering this undertaking and the progress made in that respect. I therefore wish to say the meeting now is duly adjourned.